Hey, thanks for joining me. My name is Linda. I'm with Remade with Love, and I'm a total newbie, so I'm glad you're here. Hang out for a few more seconds, a few minutes, and we'll just make sure other people have a chance to get on if they want to watch. I loved watching today. It's great to pick up tips from all these other makers, these painters, on how to work with the products and how to remake furniture that we want to live with. I love the last person too. She was from the airline, and I was with an airline for almost 24 years, so I kind of connected with her on that, and then continued to watch her working the ceruzzi wax. I guess I'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to tell you a little story about how this occurred. Being a newbie, I didn't really know what to do, but I signed up to do it anyway. And what came to me was, have you ever been nose blind? I mean, we all know what that means, right? Being nose blind is being blind to the smells in your house that you've become so used to that sometimes we don't even know when something's bad. Well, I was furniture blind. So I kind of had pushed to the side some of my furniture from the 80s, from when my kids were little, that I really thought was useful back then, and it was, because my kids could, use their crayons on it and smear food on it, and I didn't care because it was 80s furniture, right? It's that fake wood, fake paint, really fakey furniture. But we're not in the 80s anymore, and I still have that furniture in my home. And as I was moving around some furniture with my sister and trying to redo my home, there was that weird sofa table that was in the kitchen and was hidden in the corner and was from the 80s. And as I brought it forward and we moved it around, I'm like, what is this doing in my house? Well, rather than throw it out, sell it at a garage sale, I decided to try and take these products and rework Amy Howard magic on my sofa table from the 80s. And I'm going to show you what I did. So first of all, I want you to take a look at what the end product is. Now, this is almost complete. You can see what I wanted to do is keep the tabletop a wood grain, and the bottom I painted with one step. The knob isn't there, and I might go ahead and add some glazing to the base, but I'm not sure at this point. But I'll show you what I did. First of all, and the reason why I'm wearing my gloves is because in order for me to get rid of that fakey 80s look, which actually is exactly like this, with this wood-like finish and this wonderful hunter green plasticky type paint on it, that's what was on this sofa table. I needed to go ahead and strip the top down because I wanted to start with a wood base. And then I thought I would use a product called Better with Age to age the wood, and then ceruzzi wax to seal and add that interesting layer that kind of lined it, made it lighter. Well, what I ended up doing is needing to know how to strip. And so many videos don't show you how to strip, so I wanted to let you know this was my procedure. I used a pretty safe stripper. Now, all strippers are going to be somewhat dangerous, which is why I have the gloves on. Spread it with the stripper, kept it on for 2 to 4 hours. You can even cover it with plastic and then go back over, and you know it's working when you pick up the goop and it's kind of got that sludge look to it, that black base. It's not that bright orange or that other color of whatever stripper you're going to use. And you work your way down to the original wood color. It's messy. Anything plastic will stop the stripper's effectiveness, so that's why I'm using this old plastic nut can and the plastic scraper. Also, the plastic scraper will not damage my soft wood. And when I'm done, I'll show you what I do with my scraper. I may just finish to this point for the sake of time and show you how I process the wood next. Try and get some of it just pushed off to the side, and you can see what I'll do next. All right, so that's good for now. You can see that sludge in there. I always keep handy a plastic container of Amy Howard's Clean Slate. I could use mineral spirits, but I love this product. It's good for so many things, and it will also take care of this, which is covered in that stripping goo, and I want to make sure that that's cleaned safely. At the same time, you want to clean this off. Let's pretend like all of this is clean, and I'm just going to do this section right here and show you what I've done. And the next thing I'll do is I'll take that Clean Slate and I'll saturate a cloth, could be a paper towel. I use a cloth that I can use for this process over and over again. And then I'm going to go ahead and start by doing this, which is just wiping it off. You can see how much more of that stripping product comes off. And then I'll take some 4/0 steel wool, saturate that, and this will help get all of that product out from the grain. So you can see the color lightening up some as it pulls out, and I want to keep turning this so that it picks up any additional product in there. Of course, 4/0 is just rolled and rolled, so you can go on inside and pull it out. After I've done this step, I'll go ahead and go over it again with a clean rag just to make sure none of the steel wool bits, which you really shouldn't have that much with the 4/0 size. And then that picks up any other residue. Of course, you may have to continue to do this procedure a couple of times. You can see that some of the natural wood is coming out, but not all is there. This board, interestingly enough, and it's similar to the sofa table that I redid, is made of several different woods. And a lot of times we don't know what we're getting with 80s furniture because it has that kind of uniform finish that they put on it. So you don't know until you get down to that bare wood. This wood was one color, was one brand or one kind of wood, and this is another kind. So in redoing this, I don't know if I would keep it and just do Better with Age on it, or if I would do another product or procedure. What I found out with the sofa table, as I cleaned it down to the bare wood, was it was butcher block. So it was a number of pieces stacked up together, and it was all different ranges of yellow. So as I got down there, you can see some was very light and some was dark. And so I thought, how best can I proceed? It wasn't all uniform like this knob is. But my next step was I still wanted to have that wood finish top. So what I was going to do was, I was going to try Better with Age. So Better with Age works with the tannins in wood. You've got to shake it up to make sure everything's mixed inside. And when you open it up, what you're going to want to do is use the product. You can use it straight from the can with a chip brush. So what I did, and I'm going to show you on this side of the board that I finished that was much darker than the sofa table that I used, and then I'll show you on another board. I don't know if this will do much on this, but you'll just lay it on. And it looks like there is still some kind of a finish on there because, as you can see, it beads up. So I would need to probably go back with more stripper before I actually continued on. We can see what that looks like in a few minutes, but I'm going to show you what it would look like if you were using bare oak or a piece of furniture that was stripped down and you found it to be oak. So this is oak. It was just an old stair. One side was varnished. The back side is partially varnished. And then we've got this. Now, kind of banged up, so you'll see those bangs on this. I wouldn't use it for a piece of furniture, but you can certainly see those stripes coming out, that veining in the wood that you really want to hang on to there. And that would be beautiful with cerusing wax in there. Get done. So let me clean this up really quickly. Okay, so I will go ahead and do Better with Age on the knob when I finish up after this video, and I'll show you the pictures of my completed sofa table. But what I did with the sofa table is exactly what I showed you here. I took my chip brush, and as I laid it on, I could see it wasn't going to give me a uniform color. So what I decided to do is very gently go across the top, dragging the bristles and making those marks across it. And normally this would react with the tannins in the wood. It sinks in, it gives you a lovely finish. What I ended up doing was almost painting across the top, putting on heavier coats in some areas and leaving others light. And so that's the finish that I got there. Now, slide this over a bit. What I like about one-step paint, which is what I used on the base, and I used linen on the base, is that the name One Step kind of says it all. It's not just one coat, but it's one step in getting it on there. You don't have to sand the base. You don't have to do anything unusual, but you do need to make sure you are working with a clean surface. So as I prepped, of course, I would take off the hardware, get rid of that, and that's what this one is. You can see I haven't cleaned it at all, but I want to make sure that there aren't any surfactants, any of those old crayons that my kids could have gotten on the piece, any of whatever this dried stuff is. So I would work this over on whatever this surface is. Spray, factory spray painted, I'm not sure. Work this over. And of course I'd work it all the way down. That looks like a ding. And it takes about 15 minutes to dry. I'm going to go ahead and just wipe it with another area, and because of our time, I'm going to keep going with the paint. Okay, so this is One Step paint in linen, and what I've done is I've bought a really inexpensive cover that I can find at the local box store, and you can go ahead and pour. It's really great because I don't have to worry about my paint drying out. I don't have to worry about any spills. And I would just go ahead and load some paint on, offloading the excess. Still a little bit wet, but like I said, I'm going to go ahead and start. And I'd go ahead and start rolling. I like using the foam roller for most furniture. It ends up leveling out, giving a really great finish. Now my first pass over, my first paint job, and I usually put on about 3, doesn't have to be perfect at all. It could be just like this. Because I'm going to do it 2 more times, it will level out. It will look wonderful. I also use a little detail brush to get in the nooks and crannies. So I could even just start off doing this. And I'm not going to worry about those lines. I'm not going to worry about any of the vacations, the spots that just don't have any paint on it. I'm going to go ahead, let that dry for about an hour, come back, put another coat on. I can really get through a lot, and I've got 3 coats on my final finished sofa table. Now, when you're done, either with staining the top or painting the bottom, you need to figure out how you're going to seal your product. Amy Howard's at-home paints, the one-step paint, doesn't really need to be sealed. it has in it product that will keep it from being damaged. However, if you're going to use it for drinks, let's say the top was painted, I would definitely seal it with either, I've got a couple of products here, either the Mind Your Own beeswax or the matte sealer. I've used matte sealer on a number of pieces of furniture. You rarely get any shine from it. It's a very, like it says, it's matte. It doesn't change the color of your paint. And Mind Your Own beeswax kind of gives it just a soft glow. So that's exactly what I used on my tabletop here for my sofa table. I rubbed in the Mind Your Own beeswax. I was going to do cerusing wax, decided it wasn't going to work on that one. And that's kind of what you learn from redoing 80s furniture. So, but I will show you with the oak and this other board what that might look like if I decide to put on cerusing wax. Now you could, it's not quite dry in some places, but I'm just going to put a little on. Normally you can put it on with a brush, a chip brush. I've known people to use a paper towel. I go ahead and use whatever's at hand, and I'm just going to lightly kind of put it on there. Normally you'd let this sit for a few minutes, 15 minutes or so, and you can come back and you can push it in the grains. Because this is so quick, you may not get the full effect, but you can see that the cerusing wax is really going to give you that lovely Restoration Hardware grayed out look. It's going to be something that I may do with a set of 3 bookcases that I have that are oak that I want to refinish. So I love that. I'm going to try it now. I haven't done it on the board here, but let me see if there's anything that I can on this one. Now, cerusing wax really works with the hardwoods best. Does not work well with pine. Just want to get that somewhat covered. So, works great with oak, mahogany, birch, things like that. Go ahead and normally it needs more drying time, but I'm gonna, oh, look at that. I love that. Now, if this were a full piece like that, just look at all of that. Beautiful. I think I could do that with this wood. I think I might do that with this wood. Okay. Well, my time is almost up. Please ask me questions. Send me thumbs up if you would. This is my first time. You could tell I was a little nervous. Many thanks to Amy Howard for hosting me today. I couldn't have done it without you and your products. They're wonderful. The reason why I'm doing this is because I love the products and because I've been able to take things that I've had for years and rather than throw them out, repurpose them. So I really have had fun today. If you've been furniture blind like me and found inspiration from today's session, please go ahead and post or tag me, and I'd love to see what you have done. So once again, Linda from Remade with Love, thank you so much for joining me.